Hello, teachers and educators. Today we are going to be getting started with our Flyleaf decodable literature kits. This is going to be an overview going over the Emergent series. So first, let's go over our 3 Ps. Our purpose for this PD is to prepare you for delivery of tier 2 and 3 interventions using the Flyleaf decodable literature kits. Participants will engage in collaborative exploration of resources, discuss and reflect on the model videos that are provided. Your payoff is that you will be prepared for effective implementation of this this guide, and you will have the knowledge to help your students in providing them the skills that they need to support them in becoming great readers. So the first question is, what are Flyleaf decodable literature kits? This is a set of readers and teacher guides, and the goal of this is to provide beginning and struggling readers with abundant opportunities to transfer new phonics skills. And while practicing the reading, they'll practice different types of comprehension as well. These research-based instructional materials support teachers in explicitly guiding the students to develop the skills and habits necessary to become a skilled reader. So why use Flyleaf kits? Well, first, we must understand that alphabetic principle. This is the concept that written language is a code for sounds. All words are sounds or phonemes, and these are also written in the form of letters or letter combinations called graphemes. In other words, graphemes are a code for sounds. So learning to read is the work of cracking this code. It's understanding that they both have a relationship. The body of research has shown that the science of teaching reading has, in order for them to become developed readers, level text does not support alphabetic principle. So this is why we are recommending this type of guidance and this type of teaching be done. So they have practice in decoding new and unfamiliar words. Students need to become metalinguistic or aware of how English language works in print, and they need to practice the aspects of the language that arise from the print. The words students work with in each foundational skills guide are the words they will read in the corresponding books. So whatever you're teaching explicitly, they will also practice this in the books. So when can this reader be used? We are recommending this be used during small group instruction or school-wide interventions, during push-in, pull-out, and for your students with IEPs. So please make sure you partner with your special education teacher and GEC teachers. So we are recommending this be used with Tier 2 and Tier 3 students. In order to identify your Tier 2 students, please use your data from MAP or MClass or the formative assessment that you've given them. Tier 3 students, this will be a remediation of skills for students who have not responded to Tier 2 intervention. And this means that this will require a longer duration of time, more days during the week, to make sure they are getting the necessary intervention to be successful. So getting started with Flyleaf, here are what the different kits look like. As I said, we're going to be working on the Emergent Reader Series today. So in front of you or at your campus, which you should have for your Emergent series, are 2 binders and 6 sets of these books. These are for kinder and first grade teachers. As you open, you should be able to find a teacher guide for foundational skills, 1 teacher guide for close reading, 6 boxed book sets, and then 6 decks of word chaining activity cards. If you click here, there's a great little document of how to unbox your materials and a binder walkthrough of all the great things that are in there. So in the foundational skills binder, you'll find the teacher guide overview, a scope and sequence for what skill they're going to be teaching each week, a guide for each book, and then formative assessments that'll take place after reader 9, 18, 27, and 41. There are also blackline masters that you can make copies of. In the close reading binder, you'll also find teacher guide overview, a scope and sequence, and then within each lesson, you'll have a close reading that will require students to think deeply into a text. This is going to be the close reading piece. You will also have post-reading assessments and blackline masters. So if you'd like, these are clickable, that are also your teacher guide overviews. Um, Take a second to skim through there and see all the great things that they have and what your lessons will look like. Here is a visual of the scope and sequence. As you notice, the Emergent Reader Series is at the beginning of the rainbow gradient. That's why it's kinder and first, okay? And this are the skills that they'll be going over. So for example, number one, you're gonna start with I am Sam. They're gonna be working on the consonant S, M, and the vowel sound, the short A vowel. Your non-decodable words will be yes and I. So there is a very explicit and systematic instruction for the scope and sequence. The close reading scope and sequence is things that we will have to develop them as really great readers and comprehension. So that means we'll start with print concepts and text features, story structure, we'll talk about vocabulary, retelling, themes, all those things to make them fully understand a text. So, to figure out where you need to begin with your students, I would highly recommend looking at the kinder progression or the first grade progression documents, and then select lessons that align with the district's phonics progression. For Tier 3 students, in addition to the Tier 1 instruction, we want them to make sure that you begin your lessons based on the instructional planning report from MAP, or you can conduct it in formal reading analysis. So these videos will not play with the recording. However, we would like for you to take a second, and this is the informal reading analysis that takes place after the readers 9, 18, 27, and 41. Please take note of the instructional levels. Independent is 96% or above, instructional is 91 to 95%, and then frustrational is 90% or below. So there are different formative assessments that you can give to better understand where your students are and where they need to begin for the next small groups. This is the nonsense word subtest, real word subtest, target letter sound correspondence subtest, and the high frequency puzzle word subtest. These are also in your Blackline Masters in the binders, and we also have PDFs available for you to use on this slide deck. There is a great reference material once you're done testing in the teacher guide. There is something called interpreting student performance. So based on how they performed, they will give you a great, really detailed recommendation of how to support your students. These are just a few of the ways, a few of the things they go over. One of them was if they read all words accurately, then they are ready to move on to a different series of books, a harder series. If they're struggling with nonsense words but are better with real words, they're going to benefit practice with new words and texts and isolated. So they're skilled with words, but they are not automatized. So as I said, on Teacher Guide Overview, page 5, they have a huge list of all the ways you can support based on how they are performing. There's also 2 diagnostic tools. One is a miscue error analysis. This is when you're doing the formative assessment, you will record their miscues on this form to really specify where their errors are taking place. And then the informal reading inventory analysis, this can help you obtain placement information for students. As I said, the miscue error analysis document, this is what it will look like. There is a Blackline Master in your guide, but there's also a digital version for you as well. Please keep in mind to look at developing a plan of instruction. As I said, they give you really good detail of finding what the problem is, what the cause might be, and what you can do about it. This is an example of your lesson cycle. So for your lesson cycle on days 1 and 2, you're going to be focusing on foundational skills. And then you will also go to close reading. So days 1 and 2 is a foundational skills focus, and then it goes into a close reading. On day 5, you can conduct your progress monitoring. The progress monitoring will look something like this after each reading that you do. It goes over a list of words, and you can track that. Right here, you will find a file with all of the assessments available to you. Here's an example of the progress monitoring for assessment 18. Like I said, you don't do a formative assessment after every read, you just do it after the ones that I've said below. One great thing that Flyleaf has provided is online materials. So all the readers that you have 6 sets of each book. However, they also have them available online. And then under the instructors page, they have great homework assignments that could be used for homework or even for stations that have to do with the same skill that you're going over. So please go online and access all the great materials they have. This is an example of a sample schedule that could that could take place in your classroom. As we said earlier in this presentation, Tier 3 instruction, our Tier 3 students, you must be seeing them every day. So this is what a sample schedule could look like. The recommended lesson cycles, obviously we're on the blue side, Emergent series. The first 2 days are foundational skills and close reading, with days 3 to 5 as a focus on close reading. Below, you will find links to our emails and your literacy team. We are the reading specialists. So if you have any questions or need more guidance or want any help with unpacking or seeing how to use the material, please reach out to your reading specialist and we will help you. Lastly, please, we really value your feedback. We would love for you to please click on this link or scan this right here so we can get feedback on how this presentation went and we can know that you accessed it. And we greatly appreciate you taking the time to go through this, and we hope that you really enjoy your new Flyleaf series.